leaving this club. I'm not defensive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome to all your latest Chelsea transfer news. And of course, welcome back to the home of the world champions. Big up to everyone that's already locked in. Make sure you're smashing out the likes on your way in. Subscribe if you're new around here. And as always, get involved in the chat. I'm dressed in black because it's a dark day for me. The Marc Guehi dream looks like it's over. Chelsea looks set to miss out on Marc Guehi with a move to Liverpool seemingly gathering pace. All the latest on Guehi's future. We got the latest on Christopher Nkunku with Bayern Munich keen to prioritise a move for Nkunku as they search for a replacement for Kingsley Coman. We've got a small update on Xavi Simons because we love talking about Xavi Simons, guys. We've also got the latest on Nicholas Jackson with reports from Fabrizio Romano that Newcastle have spoken to Jackson's reps on several occasions already. And Ali Barat was in the owner's box for the game against Bayer Leverkusen on Sunday. Make of that what you will. Was he there to have meetings with Chelsea about Nico Jackson? Who knows? Plus loads of other news as well. But Nkunku, Guehi, Jackson, Xavi Simons. There's no update on Alejandro Garnacho. But yeah, as always, guys, you know what I'm going to say. Before we say hello to you lot in the chat, make sure you check out Jerseys FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description, guys. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. Make sure you're looking fresh in the Chelsea home kit, away kit, or the third kit when it eventually releases. Names, numbers, patches, whatever you want on the back. Make sure you check it out. Great quality, affordable prices. Look fresh for the upcoming season. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off at Jerseys FC Soccer Shop. Now, let's get into the good stuff, people. Let's say hello to you lot in the chat. Let's see what the people are saying. Nkunku, time to go. Yep, it is time to go. Chelsea needs Marc Guehi back. Brother, you're preaching to the choir. You don't need to tell me that, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm a bit concerned with the centre-back. Yeah, as am I. I can't see it, bro. I can't see it. Yes, big up, brother. It appears that's going to be the case. We're going to dive into it. We should go for Silva at Benfica. I can't see that happening either. It's not even that. I just think he prefers a move to Liverpool. Chelsea, excuse me, do like Marc Guehi, but he prefers a move to Liverpool, seemingly. Yes, big up, bro. Hello, hello. Yes, welcome, brother. Yeah, dark day for me, boys. Dark day. Yes, big up, big up. Yes, yes. Yesterday I was on with Jay Bothroyd. I hope these deals get through ASAP. Yeah, bro, I do as well. Jackson worth 30 million. Bro, he's not worth 30 million. We know that's nonsense. We're not making a loss on Jackson. Big up, brother. Look, I don't know how true it is. But they might be sniffing. Let's see. What, shirts too expensive in general, or do you mean somewhere specific? Yes, man, we wish we win in the league, bro. Bro, I hope so. I hope so. We need a third striker, yes. Yeah, bro, on Jerseys FC Soccer Shop, they're definitely affordable. None of this 80 to £100 nonsense. We're looking at 25, £30. To be fair, he probably will. He probably will in long-term speaking. Okay, look, right now, Van Dijk, Konate, could be Van Dijk and Guehi. But once Van Dijk goes, Guehi could be stepping into that role. But look, I do get your point. And Ben Jacobs has obviously shedded some light on why that might not happen. Charlie, you were there when LB said new. Yeah, nah, bro. LB was on a mad one there. I don't know what he was on about. I couldn't believe what I was hearing from LB, but yeah, it was mad. It was mad. Yeah, we were on Race for Europe on Potts' channel Monday night. LB with a mad one, but fair. If he turns out to be right, I will offer my apologies straight away. But yeah, I wasn't having it at all. No, that's not happened yet. I reckon in the next 20 minutes, mate, we should be due that. We should be due that in the next 20 minutes. Well, I'm not funding dodgy dealings, if that's what you're on about. They're not like real, quote unquote, but they're obviously replicas. But the quality is very good. Guys, I wouldn't lie to you about that sort of thing. I've got the home and away shirt this season, and real talk, I've worn them to the mega store. I've compared them, and you would hardly notice the difference. But again, I'm not forcing anyone to buy them. I'm just letting you know about it. We should stick with the centre-backs we have. Josh deserves an opportunity. We can reassess in January. Bro, I can tell you now, the market won't be any better than it is now in January. Plus, you will pay a premium in January. You know, that's the reality here. No, it's not gone, bro. We're working on it. You know, it's not gone anywhere. Like, that deal will happen. So yeah. Anyway, people, if Nkunku to Bayern, what that means for Xavi Simons swap deal? Well, it doesn't really mean anything. It just means that we'll probably end up paying this for Simons. Mate, I'd imagine this month. I don't know why. I don't know why the third kit hasn't been launched, but it is what it is. Bro, we're not interested in Hincapié. I can confirm right now, Chelsea not interested in Piero Hincapié. No interest. But yeah, anyway, let's dive into it. Let's start with the Christopher Nkunku news then, because we know that Bayern Munich were obviously interested back in January. Chelsea had slapped a ridiculous asking price on Nkunku in January that obviously no one was going to match. And then we had yesterday a report from L'Equipe in France. Bayern Munich are set to prioritise a move for Christopher Nkunku as they seek to replace the departing Kingsley Coman, who of course is going to link up with Cristiano Ronaldo in Saudi Arabia with Al Nassr. This report saying, let me just quickly read this info. Bayern Munich is set to prioritise a move for Chelsea's attacking midfielder Christopher Nkunku as they seek to replace Kingsley Coman, according to L'Equipe. The France international winger is set to sign a 3-year deal with Al Nassr. Okay. So Coman is the fourth Bayern Munich attacker to leave this summer, following Sane, Müller and Matthias Tell. Bayern Munich are expected to continue their revamp of Vincent Kompany's attacking options after the signing of Luis Diaz. L'Equipe reports that Nkunku could well be Coman's successor, and Bayern's director of football, Max Erbel, rates the Chelsea forward highly. Erbel and Nkunku reportedly reached an agreement on personal terms in the winter transfer window, but Bayern could not meet Chelsea's asking price. Chelsea have now softened their stance and lowered their demands for Nkunku to a transfer fee ranging between 40 and 50 million euros. That would fall in line with what The Athletic have reported, with Chelsea looking for around £43 million for Nkunku. This makes an awful lot of sense. This does make a lot of sense. Bayern need to replace Coman. They haven't replaced Musiala yet either, who's injured. They could do with another sort of versatile forward-type player. And this does make perfect sense, chat. This does make perfect sense. The price is going to be a lot more affordable for Bayern as well. Bro, I can tell you one thing now. Bayern Munich do not have issues with wages. They do offer a lot of wages. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's still going to be very much down to what are we looking for here? How much are Chelsea actually looking for? That's the main thing, guys, here. Now, LB's a top guy. Love LB. But yeah, that was, I've got to be honest, that was a bit of a mad one from him. So yeah, look, we're in a situation where there's no bids yet for Nkunku. But again, I wouldn't be concerned, chat, about there being a lack of bids, because we know how the transfer window works. We know how the transfer window works, chat. We're in a situation where clubs know we want to get rid of certain players, and they will wait as long as they possibly can to put a bid in to try and get the lowest price possible. We know exactly how this works. We've played this game ourselves. We've tried to play this game, and other teams will play this game against us as well. And I think Bayern Munich are going to be doing exactly that. Bayern Munich are going to be doing exactly that, chap. Of course they are. There's no doubt about it. That's exactly what they're going to be looking to do. And I think, I don't know. To me, Nkunku is obviously going to want to choose Bayern Munich over RB Leipzig. No doubt about it at all. He's definitely going to prefer Bayern Munich to RB Leipzig. Now it's just a case of what sort of money would Bayern prepared to put on the table, and will they 100% come in for him? This is what we're now waiting for. This is what we're now waiting for. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Some of these outgoings will go to deadline day. 100% they will. 100% they will. I don't know whether Nkunku will go to deadline day, but I do believe that we're going to be in a situation where a lot of these outgoings go to the final week, maybe the final couple of weeks. Guys, keep smashing up the like button as well. Subscribe if you're new around here. 180 in the building, only 46 likes. Let's get this to 100 likes ASAP and keep smashing that subscribe button. But yeah, look, we've known all along that Nkunku wants Champions League football. He's not going to get Champions League football or any European football at RB Leipzig. So yeah, the move to Bayern Munich makes sense. I think that, to be honest, as well, is the best move that is on the table for him. There was that report from L'Equipe that Bayern are set to prioritise a move for Nkunku. But then we've had a report from Florian Plettenberg, from our friends chat, from our friends over at Sky Germany. And he's provided a bit more detail on what is going on here. Understand that a deal for Christopher Nkunku and Bayern until deadline day is possible. Of course it is. Much now depends on whether Bayern re-enter the race for Nick Woltemade. Nkunku is keen to join Bayern, but has many suitors. There was already a verbal agreement with Bayern in January, something Herbal loves. He can play as a 9, 10 and on the wing. Leipzig open for a loan. Chelsea and Nkunku want a permanent deal. Yeah, Leipzig can get in the bin with this loan business. Guys, we're not in the business of loaning stuff out anymore, particularly not older players. Fine, yeah, younger talents, loan them out, no problem. We need to be moving away from loaning out bloody players at 27. We need to get rid. We need to get rid. And hopefully we do get rid. And, you know, get our 40 million in the bag, 40 million package. There are suitors at clubs in Italy, clubs in the Premier League, clubs in Germany. Nkunku does have teams interested in him. But again, Bayern will be looking at other options. And for me, I think it's quite clear that Bayern Munich, their main target is Nick Woltemade. Absolutely, the main target is Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart. There was a report a few weeks, months ago, maybe now, earlier this summer, that Bayern had agreed personal terms with Woltemade, but there was no agreement in place with with Stuttgart at this point in time. So, yeah, we remain to see what happens on that one. I don't know if Woltemade is in a massive rush to leave Stuttgart. I mean, is there a rush to leave for Bayern Munich? I don't really know. What do I see happening with Tyreek George? Look, George, I have to be honest, I like Tyreek George. He contributed a bit towards the end of last season. The reality is I just don't think he's good enough, personally. Not right now, anyway. If he goes on loan, fine. If we sell him permanently, get a sell-on clause or a buyback clause in there, and I wish him well. But as much as I don't want Garnacho to come, we have to be honest here, chat. Garnacho is a better player than Tyreek George. But Stuttgart demands Ekitike money for Woltemade, and Bayern waits until next year because he's free agent. We might sign a contract extension. I don't know. Yes, all good, all good. Hope you're well. Can't sign Simons until Nkunku leaves. Well, Nkunku or Jackson is what we're looking at here. You know, one of Nkunku or Jackson needs to leave before we can go and sign Simons or Garnacho. So that's the situation that we're in right now. Bayern Munich is set to prioritise the move for Nkunku. It could go all the way to deadline day. But he's keen on that move. It would give him Champions League football. And I would imagine, chat, this is just purely me speculating, is that Bayern Munich is the biggest club that will be in for Nkunku this summer. The biggest club that will be in for Nkunku this summer. But that really, guys, is the latest on the Christopher Nkunku saga. The Christopher Nkunku saga is that Bayern Munich are now back in the race. He wants to go there. That's going to be the best move that he'll get. And yeah, this is starting to gather pace, but I would expect this to go right up until the final days of the transfer window. Raheem Sterling, again, another one who will go to the final days for sure. I'll never say never in football, but he certainly won't develop into one of them if he stays at Chelsea and barely kicks a ball. That's what we have to be fully aware of. No, it's not about selling to make money. It's about making space in the squad. Chelsea want to move players out before bringing the players in. It's not about, we haven't got the finances until players leave. It's about they want to get Nkunku and Jackson out to make space in the squad for the new attackers. They don't want to sign these attackers and then on the off chance they can't get rid of these other ones. We don't want to avoid a situation where we're stockpiling players. That's what we want to do. But yeah, that's the latest on Nkunku, guys. Bayern Munich back in the mix. He's keen on that move, and it's one which could run until deadline day. Bayern have lost 4 attackers, and yeah, they're obviously looking to replace they're potentially looking at Christopher Nkunku. So yeah, I don't think they're massively short on attackers for the new season, but it could go to the final day because they'll want to try and get the cheapest deal possible from Chelsea, and that's just the way that these things go, guys. That's just the way that these things go. Do I think we get Simons? Yes, I still do. But having always maintained like strong confidence on this, I still think we get him. But I have to be honest, guys, my confidence is waning a touch on this Simons deal. But that's the latest on Nkunku. Fair enough, you don't want Garnacho. Each to their own on that one, sure. Conte bid for Garnacho. I don't think so. They've signed other players. They've got Noah Lang in. Thoughts on Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle? Jacob Ramsey, decent player. Injuries, few injury issues. He'll be a good rotation option for Newcastle, I suppose. I mean, it helps Villa out from a financial perspective. So that's the latest on Christopher Nkunku. So let's go, chat, from one player who could be heading to the Bundesliga to one player who could be swapping the Bundesliga for Chelsea. And it's that man, Xavi Simons. This is the latest update from Florian Plettenberg. Xavi Simons remains fully focused on an agreement between RB Leipzig and Chelsea. Man City are currently not a hot topic. Chelsea are staying patient in their pursuit of Xavi. Deal still on. Current salary at RB Leipzig reaching up to 14 million euros gross if all bonuses are triggered. So Chelsea are sitting tight. They're staying patient on the Simons deal. The deal is very much still on. However, we are looking at a situation where apparently, according to TalkSport, and let me just, because we had reports earlier this week that Man City might be entering the race. They were slightly played down as to how serious they were about it. And they're obviously more looking at Rodrigo, but then there have been talks of Simons. And then I've not found the TalkSport report, but Simon Phillips has obviously quoted it. I'm not sure if there's a link to it, though. No, there's no link to it. But apparently, Man City are contemplating a stunning hijack of Chelsea's proposed deal for Xavi Simons. Now, I've always maintained this is the problem, guys, when you wait so long to get a deal done. These are the problems that you could encounter. We saw it with Caicedo a couple summers ago. We took so long negotiating. Liverpool came in with a bid, and the only reason he stayed is because Caicedo was a man of his word. If he wasn't a man of his word, then we would have lost out on Moises Caicedo to Liverpool because we were dithering. And it appears like we're dithering again, and another team could come in. It's a problem. Let me see if I can find this article, guys. But this is always the risk that you run. Always the risk that you run. Yeah, here it is, exclusive. Okay. Manchester City are contemplating a stunning hijack of Chelsea's proposed deal for Xavi Simons. The Dutchman has agreed personal terms with the Blues ahead of a potential move to Stamford Bridge. But the clubs are yet to reach an agreement. Don't we know that? Don't we know that? We've been waiting and waiting. That could open a door for City to come in and try to complete a deal themselves. As of yet, it is just interest from the former Premier League champions, and it is likely dependent on players moving on. Savinho has been linked with a shock transfer to Tottenham, but TalkSport understands City don't want to sell. However, they may reluctantly let him go. The Brazilian pushes for a move. What is happening with Chelsea and Simons? When news of this deal first broke, it looked as if it would move quickly, but the two clubs are yet to reach an agreement. A potential deal seeing Nkunku head back to Leipzig has been discussed. If any deal involving Nkunku to Leipzig were to happen, it would be separate to Simons going the other way. Leipzig are looking for 60 million to part ways with Simons, while Chelsea are hoping to pay just over 50. But things are complicated by the fact the player only just joined Leipzig permanently in January from PSG. The fee was just over 40 million and included around 20 million in bonuses, but it's not clear how many of those have been paid. That'll be key to the price that Leipzig eventually accept for Simons, which would apply to the Man City deal as well. There have been suggestions Nkunku doesn't want to return to Leipzig, which could cause Chelsea some problems. So there we are. Man City are reportedly considering hijacking the Xavi Simons deal. This is a problem. Yeah, a lot of it is. A lot of it is just rinse and repeat. There's no denying that. A lot of it will be rinse and repeat, of course, because day to day there's not an awful lot of updates. But as we've said, chat, the situation is, whilst we're not getting any what seems like real progress, there's always that worry. You always allow the risk. You're always leaving the door slightly open for another team to come in. Leaving the door slightly ajar, guys. It's never good to leave the door ajar because you never know who might come through that door. And that's what we're potentially running the risk of finding out, guys. People keep smashing the likes. We're on 63 with over 200 in the building. This is a poor conversion rate. We're looking at Rasmus Højlund-esque conversion rate here. Guys, come on. It really helps me out, and it does more than you could ever imagine. It's just one simple click of a button. Let's get it done, people. Don't allow Guehi, our common boy, to go to Liverpool for such a cheap price. I hear you, bro. We're going to get onto that. If we bring in Garnacho before Simons, our fan base is going to freak out. At the end of the day, neither of them can come in until Jackson or Nkunku leave. Should we go for Edison if City go for Donnarumma? Bro, I wouldn't be against it. Simons does want Chelsea, but the longer this drags on, he might lose patience with it. He might lose patience with it, and he might just decide, you know what? These guys are taking so long, I might just go elsewhere. Yes, big up, brother. Big up. Bro, players can change their minds very quickly. We can't just sit back, put our feet up, and presume everything's going to be fine. I don't know. Yeah, that is true. He's involved, absolutely. But again, I think there's probably only so long that players are potentially prepared to wait. there's only so long that players are potentially prepared to wait, chat, and that is the issue which we could be having here. Will I be watching the Super Cup later? Yeah, we'll stick it on. We'll stick it on. So there's that on Simons there, right? And then the potential hijacking of a deal. Let me just bring that onto the screen, guys. So they're contemplating. So again, doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just means that, you know, they might consider it. They might consider it. But again, any move for Xavi Simons from Man City is dependent on, obviously, Savinho leaving. Any move is dependent on Savinho leaving, and there's no guarantees that Savinho leaves. You know? No, bro, Simons deal is not off. Yes, big up, bro. Nah, mate, dangerous to leave. Never leave the door ajar, whether it's transfers or in life in general. Don't ever leave a door slightly open. Bro, we never bid £55 million for Guehi. Chelsea have never made an offer for Marc Guehi. Never. Mate, I'm calm. I'm not panicking. You know, if we get hijacked, we get hijacked, and we've only got ourselves to blame. Yeah, he does seem City bound, but again, all these signings for City are dependent on Savio leaving. Yeah, look, I would imagine that the deal for Simons is broadly kind of all agreed, but obviously they don't want to announce it until you know there's movement on the outgoing side of things. You know, until there's movement on the outgoing side of things. No, but the Elise thing was different because we'd actually activated the release clause and we had an agreement all in place, and then Palace reported us, and then that deal fell through. That was the first time. That was the bro. I don't know why people are telling me to calm down. I'm fine. I've maintained that I still think this deal will happen. All I've said is that maybe my confidence is a little bit less than it has been previously, but I still expect this deal to go through. We've then had on The Athletic, Liam Toomey was doing a Q&A. And he was giving his opinion. This is an opinion, by the way. This is not fact. This is just an opinion. At this point, I am far more confident Garnacho gets done than Simons. United need to raise funds, and he wants the move. The situation with Simons is far more murkier, though Chelsea's interest is genuine. Chelsea's interest is genuine. And look, again, before anyone sort of goes off in the chat, this is an opinion, guys. This is not fact. This is an opinion which could be based on some insider information, potentially. However, I also feel this opinion probably displays or puts across how a lot of Chelsea fans would be feeling about the situation. You know, and I think many Chelsea fans would feel the exact same way in terms of this right now. I think this would sum up the feeling pretty well. We're looking at a situation where looking at a situation where, you know, Garnacho looks a lot more likely to happen. Bro, Eze won't... No. Bro, I don't understand why people just write these things off so quickly. I don't know why. I don't know why. Let's big up, brother. Hope you're well. I think he's away or something. But no, he's not gone missing. Yeah, look, we'll get... I think we'll end up with both as well. Yeah, look, Spurs have got a good chance of getting Eze as well. Agreed. No one's going to be forced out. No one's going to be forced out. I think it's very important to stress that fact that nobody is going to be forced out, chat. No one. Mate, what's your question? So yeah, look, Liam Toomey is giving his opinion. And I think, you know, that's a pretty fair opinion and a pretty fair assessment of the situation. And that was yeah. That's the feeling that's pretty obvious. You know, we know how easy this Garnacho deal is probably going to be to do. Whereas the Simons one, there does seem to be a bit more to it. Bro, the personal terms are agreed with Simons and Chelsea. Personal terms are agreed with Simons and Chelsea. First of all, when have I ever said that I was obsessed with Simons? And secondly, I don't do that stuff where I pretend I've watched someone when I haven't. If I don't know something about a player, I just say I don't know about him and I've not watched enough or I haven't watched him. Look, there's no guarantee that any player will be a success. You know, there's no guarantee any player will be. Oh. Bro, it hasn't slowed down. It hasn't slowed down. You know, like, I almost feel like people are wanting, like, bang, bang, bang every day. Outgoing. You know, football don't really work like that, guys. Football doesn't really work like that, people. Football doesn't work like that. You know, things take time. So yeah, that's where we are. No, you definitely don't need to do that either. You definitely don't need to do that either. But and I also agree that personal terms, you know, realistically, until they're holding up the shirt, the deal, you know, you can never rest easy because we know Willian had a medical at Tottenham and he ended up signing for Chelsea. You know, we've seen deals that have received the here we go, and then there's been like a last minute change of heart. You know, we saw it with Mudryk. You know, he was all set to go to Arsenal, and then Chelsea swooped in with a last minute hijack on it. So, you know, these are all things that happen. These are all things that happen. But yeah, anyway, the scenario of Simons is that not much has changed, but you know, Chelsea are confident that they'll get a deal done. The deal remains still on. And so we continue to wait. But as we said, the key is going to be Xavi Simons sorry, the key is going to be in Nkunku or Jackson moving on. That's the reality. Guys, 2:30 in the building. People, why have we still not reached 100 likes? What's going on here? What is going on here? Smash that like button. 232 in the building. And not even 100 likes. Guys, we're better than this. The community's better than this. But it's not about wanting players in a certain order. Hato is a much more important signing than Simons. We're desperate for a backup to Cucurella and an alternative. Yes. So yeah, that's the scenario with the Xavi Simons situation, guys. That is the scenario. Let's move away from Xavi Simons and let's talk about another attacker who could be on the way out before we obviously move on to the defensive situation, because that is also an important talking point. So, Nicholas Jackson. And a small update from Fabrizio Romano. Newcastle have spoken to the representatives of Nicholas Jackson several times. He would be keen on a move to Newcastle. We know that's the case. Ali Barat was at Stamford Bridge on Friday night in the ownership box. Make of that what you will. Make of that what you will. Was there a Simons situation? Was he there for Jackson? Was he there for who knows what he was there for? None of us know what he was there for. But what we do know is that obviously Chelsea would welcome Jackson back into the fold if he doesn't leave. However, Fabrizio has made it clear that Jackson is definitely leaving and it's over between the clubs. However, again, this is going to be a waiting game. This is going to be a waiting game, chat. Absolutely going to be a waiting game, because I think, look, Chelsea can want 80 million for Jackson, right? I think we know. I think we know deep down we're not getting 80 million. But they know we're not getting 80 million for him. You'd accept 65. You'd accept 65 million? I think you might get 65 million. But again, chat, there's no guarantees, by the way, that any offers actually come in for Jackson. There's no guarantees at all that any offers will come in for Nico. We don't know this, guys. We don't know whether any offers will come in. But look, I think Chelsea reportedly are not actively trying to sell Jackson. And at this point in time, we can't be offering out, bargains here. We can't be offering out bargains. 80 million, I think we know we won't get. However, 65, I think, is a fair valuation for Nico Jackson. If no one meets that, then he'll stay and he'll be part of the squad. And I believe that he can contribute. I believe that he can contribute. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I don't see there being an issue. The the Chelsea squad would be better with Nicholas Jackson in it than without. You know, if Jackson stays, I don't look at that as a negative. I don't look at that as a negative at all. That can only be a positive for us. That can only be a positive. So again, it's another one of them where yeah, exactly. He's off to AFCON in December, January time. And if, you know, he's not happy with things in 6 months' time, then, you know, we can reassess the situation then. I really don't see a major issue with this. I really don't see a major issue with this. Well, it doesn't mean that Simons definitely won't come. It doesn't mean that Simons definitely won't come. I mean, Garnacho might not come. You know, it'd be more beneficial to keep Jackson, sign Simons, and not sign Garnacho. But I don't think the bridges have been burnt, though. Like, people are presuming that bridges are burnt. They're like, what's that being based on? What's that being based on that, you know, bridges are burnt? I don't think bridges are burnt. You know, there's constantly been reports in The Athletic from Kieran Gill that if a move doesn't materialise for Jackson, that he would be welcomed back into the first team picture, and he's still valued as a squad member by insiders at Chelsea. So, you know, for me, if we get 65 million and he goes, okay, it is what it is. If he ends up staying, then I do believe that he can make a useful contribution, and Maresca will use him. Maresca will use him. Yeah, Jackson's not been sent to the bomb squad or anything like that. You know, it's not like other players that Chelsea are, you know, desperate to sell. You know they're looking to sell them. Your Vegas, your Disassis, your Chilwells, your Sterlings, your Nkunkus and whatnot. Jackson doesn't fall into that same category. You know, he's still training with the first team squad. He's not been banished or anything like that. So it is a slightly different situation in regards to him. It is a slightly different situation, guys. It's not the same. It isn't the same. It definitely isn't the same. I mean, Pedro will play as a striker, Pedro will play as a 10, and Pedro could play wide if required. But bro, they're not moving faster though, because personal terms were agreed with both players. Yeah, that was only in the build-up, like the day before the games against Leverkusen and Milan, because he obviously wasn't part of the squad. But the point is, right, is that the Garnacho deal and the Simons deal are the same. Personal terms were agreed with both. And so, but fees aren't agreed with Leipzig, and fees aren't agreed with Man United. And Chelsea need to create space in the squad for yeah. I'm aware that he'll probably play most of his minutes at 9, but it doesn't mean that he won't play in other positions, because he will. Maybe not that often, but he will play in other positions as well. Big up, brother. No, there's nothing new on Garnacho, and there's nothing new on Xavi Simons either. I also wouldn't agree we're overstocked either. So that's the latest on Nicholas Jackson, guys. I think right now, there's a good blend of rotation. We've got a great blend of options. You add Xavi Simons to that. Garnacho obviously gives you another option when he arrives. So we'll wait and see. We will wait and see what happens with it. But again, as I said, Chelsea not actively looking to sell him, and unless an offer comes in, which Chelsea deem acceptable, then Jackson will remain at the football club. That's how these things work. Bro, we've been in... But what are you basing that on? We're in conversations with United. We're in conversations with Leipzig. The deals are in the same position. No fees are agreed for either player. Personal terms are agreed for both players. Do I think we'll budge in the... No. The Athletic are reporting yesterday that Chelsea aren't prepared to just simply meet United's valuation. They will... if they see Garnacho as an opportunity, and if there's a deal can be done on their terms or as close to their terms as possible, they'll do it. If not, they won't do it. Chelsea aren't just going to go and slap £50 million on the table for Garnacho. Here you go, and meet United's demands. They're not going to do that. Because in some games, by the way, Palmer's not going to play every game. Simons, if he comes, won't play every game. There's going to be rotation, a lot of rotation, cup games and stuff and whatnot. I'm not saying it's going to be like a regular thing, but to say that, he's not going to play in any other positions is not true. Yeah, United. Yeah, every time. Yeah, United. Exactly, because Garnacho's losing so much value every time. Aaron says we don't want him. He's training on his own. We want to get rid of him. This and that. Yeah, that's the issue. There is that the way that United have handled this Garnacho situation is not the best in terms of trying to preserve his value. But if Newcastle don't come in for Jackson, I don't see any other Premier League move that's on the table for him. I don't see any other Premier League move on the table for Jackson. There just isn't, chap. There isn't another Premier League move on the table for him. And then you have to wait and see, well, what clubs are going to come in for him? So, yeah, I mean, that's where we are. Look, Spurs, again, one, I don't think Jackson would go to Spurs. And two, Spurs are focusing on Savio and Eze. And the reports have stated if Richarlison leaves, would Spurs maybe look at Jackson? I don't really see it either. Because if they knew that Isak was going, right, which they obviously do know that Isak is going, why would they not be pushing hard to get a replacement in? I mean, they probably are pushing hard to get a replacement in, but they're seemingly like if Newcastle wanted Jackson, they'd be making serious movement now to try and get a deal done. They'd be making serious movement now, chap. Would they not? Am I completely missing the point here? Would they not be making serious movement now? Surely they would. Surely they would be. Bro, I'll be honest. Watkins is not. I don't see Watkins leaving Villa. I don't see Watkins leaving Villa, guys. I really don't. See, the Jackson situation is interesting. It is interesting. We, without doubt, are going to have to drop that 80 million price. But who's going to come in? Who's going to come in for him? If Newcastle don't come in for him, what sort of money are a Juventus or an AC Milan, who are the other clubs that we've been talked about? You know, what sort of money can they offer? They're not going to be able to offer anywhere near what we want or what we would deem acceptable. Don't see it happening. Don't see it happening. No, I think Newcastle know Jackson's not changing his mind. Isak's not changing his mind. I think we know that. Guys, over 250 in the building. Keep smashing up the like button and keep subscribing if you're new around here. We're racing towards 18K. Every new subscriber helps. Please hit that subscribe button and please smash the likes as well. We're on 127 likes, over 250 in the building. Get this up to 150 likes minimum. We need to be pushing this to 200 likes, guys. So please do smash the like button. It takes seconds and it really helps me out. Yeah, exactly. They need 2 forwards, but again, maybe I'd agree to a certain extent with that they really sign 2 forwards that are going to both be at AFCON. Will they really sign 2 forwards who will both be at AFCON? Is that a wise decision from them? I don't know. I mean, look, it's not been a particularly good summer for Newcastle. I think we can all agree on that. It's definitely not been a good summer for Newcastle. Well, there's been a couple of reports saying that there is some interest there, but there's a big difference from interest to actually, accelerating something, making something happen. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Newcastle are more likely to go with like Johan Visser and Samu, for example. I think there's a possibility of them doing that. The thing is, though, like is Samu going to cost you 60 million? Maybe he would. Maybe he would cost you 60 million. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really know, to be honest. Apparently, there's been a Fabrizio tweet. I mean, is this the deal still on Chelsea? Oh, Renato Vega's future. Yeah. We'll get onto that. I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but it's not really something that I'm seeing like, yeah, it's only about Renato Vega. It's nothing major, chat. We will cover that. But yeah, anyway, that is the situation with Nico Jackson. Could Jackson go to Saudi Arabia? I've not seen anything saying that there's any serious interest in Jackson from Saudi or anything like that. I've not seen it. But again, guys, I could be wrong, couldn't I? There's a chance that I could be wrong. There's no doubt about that. I could certainly be wrong on it, chat. But let's see. Anyway, let's move away from the Nico Jackson stuff because let's talk about the need for a new defender. Because as you know, guys, when it comes to surprise, I'm obviously keen for Chelsea to get Marc Guehi. But it now appears that that's not going to happen. We had this from Ornstein yesterday. Liverpool are in talks with Crystal Palace for Marc Guehi. No bids yet, but Liverpool stepping up their efforts. Player terms also need agreeing. England defender wants game time assurances before the World Cup. If no move now, 25-year-old will leave Crystal Palace for free in 2026. There's also an update. There's also an update from There's also an update from Fabrizio on that as well. Let me just quickly find it. But look, it looks like Liverpool is stepping up the pursuit of Guehi. Let's have a quick look. Let me just find it. Because I think personal terms are agreed. So after that Ornstein tweet, I think Fabrizio did put something out about personal terms with Guehi. I don't go. Oh, let me just. I'm just scrolling through now, chat. Bear with me. Here we go. So Fabrizio stating that Liverpool have agreed personal terms with Marc Guehi, with Giovanni Leone also keen on a move. Negotiations underway with Palace for a fee of around 35 million as total package. Deal could be done soon. Liverpool working on both Guehi and Leone, not alternative as revealed today. So they're working on deals for both players. Yeah, obviously Guehi not keen to join Chelsea. Yeah, we'll get 20% of the profit. So look, we'll get a few million if he does go to Liverpool. By the way, there's no guarantees this Liverpool deal definitely happens. Again, it's I really do wonder why people hate Guehi so much. It must be so shit. It must be so bad that the best team in England want him. It must be terrible. It must be absolutely terrible. Must be really bad. And look, I would have liked him to have come. He's not coming. It is what it is. No problem. I felt it would have been a good opportunity for us. Would have filled a position. Would have made us stronger, and would have benefited us. But clearly, we're going down. We're going down a different route. Well, maybe we're not doing anything. But yeah, look, looks like Liverpool are going to get it. I mean, £35 million is a joke. I know there's only a year left on the contract, but that's really cheap. Really cheap. Look, by the way, the move's not been agreed yet. He is seeking game time assurances, by the way. So yeah, that's the situation there. Obviously, this Giovanni Leone from Parma, he's meant to be good. I've never watched him play. But he's meant to be decent. He is meant to be decent, chap. Well, there's only a year left on his contract, so Palace are in a difficult position where they can't demand huge money. He's not signing a new deal, and otherwise he'll go for free. If you're Palace, do you really want one of your best players and your captain leaving for free? No, you don't. So you are in a very difficult position. You're in a difficult position as Crystal Palace. You are in a difficult position. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about this Leone guy. I've heard that he's good. And there we go. But if Guehi goes to Liverpool, he will be starting for them within 12 months. Within 12 months, he'll be starting for them, and he'll be a regular for them. And then we'll see how shit he is. No, we won't be signing Romero. We won't be signing Romero. Absolutely not. That won't be happening. Yeah, look, it might have done. It might have done. You know, I don't really understand why we still got Badiashile. For Fana, I get it because he's a top centre back, and you know there's absolutely a player there, and he is class. But Badiashile, we've seen we've seen nothing from him since the first 6 months of the since his first 6 months at the football club. We've seen nothing. You know, I don't think Badiashile's been improving. Yeah, okay, he played well against. He was all right. He was decent against Benfica, which was one game. You know, we have to be honest here. Badiashile was great when he first came in. That first 6 months, alongside Thiago Silva, it was fantastic. Injuries have caused a problem. And since that injury he got against Bournemouth when Lampard came at the back end of that Potter season, he's been nowhere near it. He's been nowhere near the levels that he showed in the first 6 months. I think Maresca likes him, but Badiashile hasn't shown anything. He's not shown anything. You know, he hasn't shown anything to suggest that he's going to get anywhere near back to the level that he showed in the first 6 months. So there's that there. And then the Athletic reporting that, in fact, and again, this is Liam Toomey in a Q&A. And he's saying Chelsea will not be signing a defender to replace Colwell and are happy with the defensive depth they have amassed. So he is saying that no new centre-back will be arriving. I mean, this is what are we doing here? I mean, this really is baffling. I don't know where people come up with this nonsense from. Yeah, madness. Yeah, look. Obviously, it's never great when players get injured, and it's very difficult. But yeah, he just hasn't reached the heights. I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure. I really don't know. But I don't see how is it a 4 out of 10 window. I think that's ridiculous to say that. Yeah, Caicedo must have got all those GA for him. Caicedo does everything for him, so Caicedo obviously scored those goals for him and got those GA and got those assists for him as well, according to Sean. So interesting one that. Look, by the way, this hasn't been collaborated anywhere else. And I don't know how true it is or isn't, guys. Yeah, I think it's a 7 or 8 out of 10 window. You add Xavi Simons to it, and then obviously we go from there. I don't think I think this is a pretty decent window. Obviously, I'm disappointed that we're seemingly not going to sign a goalkeeper, and we might not sign a centre back. But I think overall the window's been very good this summer. You know, I think we've had a very good window this summer. It's so hard. It's so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell when players are that young. It's so hard to tell. Look, you'd like to think so, but there's a long way to go. It potentially could. It potentially could. But, you know, that's a gamble that maybe the club think is worth taking, or they're happy with the options that they've got. And so only time will tell. You know, you live and die by the sword. And, you know, these decisions could have a big outcome and a big impact on the season, guys. You know, they could have a big outcome or a big impact on the season. Yeah, look, Milinkovic had a good season at Forest last season. Let's see what he does this season. Yeah, look, you've got to take everything into consideration. This has been a good transfer window. This has been a good transfer window. You know, in terms of incomings and in terms of outgoings as well. It's been a good window so far. Obviously, you know, it can get better if we get Simons in and whatnot. Bro, we're not going to get Murillo. Mate, you don't need to tell me. You don't need to tell me. You don't need to tell me. He has got a major problem at his near post. And it's not the first time. It's not the first time. And yeah, he is a problem. Yes, bro. Enjoy the rest of your day, brother. Elite starting goalkeeper, left wing, not squad options would have been nice. We went a different way. Yeah, look, the goalkeeper, yeah, I agree on the goalkeeper. And that's why at the time I was so annoyed about the Munyan thing, because there was a goalkeeper there who was a massive improvement on Sanchez, who you could have got very cheaply. And we chose not to. And that really, and that's the frustrating thing. That is the frustrating thing, is that we've, you know, goalkeepers there that we could have got. We could have got. Yeah, I mean, the Petrovic boat, that's sailed now. But yeah, look, again, only time will tell. Only time will tell if the Munyan thing was a big mistake. Personally, I feel that it was, because that's not expensive for a goalkeeper at all, and he would have been miles better than Sanchez. And I don't anyone say, "Oh, there we go." He didn't have a great game on Sunday. No, he didn't. But there's what? So a player has one bad game. Does that mean they're shit? Come on, guys. We're better than this. We're better than this. The goalkeeper is an important position. It absolutely is. It's one of the most important. And without a top goalkeeper, you're not winning the Premier League. It's that simple. Compare our goalkeepers to City's goalkeeper. Worse, comfortably. Comfortably worse than David Raya. Comfortably worse than Alisson. Comfortably worse than Newcastle's goalkeeper. Comfortably worse than Villa's goalkeeper. Yeah, look, my take on Sanchez is very simple. My take on the goalkeeper is simple. He's not a Premier League winning goalkeeper. We've seen over the 2 years that he's been here, he's not good enough. Yes, he's had some good moments. Yes, he had a good Club World Cup. But ultimately, I'm not allowing that to suddenly think that this guy's good. Bro, that is nonsense. David Raya is miles better than Robert Sanchez. Is this really what we're doing here? David Raya is miles better than Sanchez. Ederson is miles better than Sanchez. That's a massive risk. Penders hasn't even kicked a ball in Europe's top in any of Europe's top 5 leagues, and people are talking about him coming in next season. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. He's still better than Sanchez, Ederson. He's still better than Sanchez. And I think that's the point that we're making here. And look, it's obvious. It's obvious, by the way, that Chelsea view Penders as the long-term number one. But it just is a case of how it's just a case of how there are some good things. There are some good things, but the overall package, the negatives outweigh the good things that he does. But I don't need statistics to prove it. The most errors by a goalkeeper in the Premier League last season leading to goals. I don't want my keeper being that or doing that. And there is no evidence at all to suggest that he won't be making more errors again next season leading to goals. Yes, he's a good shot stopper and makes some good saves. But ultimately, Sanchez is not good enough. He's not good enough. Answer me this question. Can Chelsea win a Premier League with Robert Sanchez in goal? Yes or no? No. Most errors leading to goals in the Premier League last season. True. Fact. So, chat, answer me this. Is Robert Sanchez a Premier League winning goalkeeper? Yes or no? Please get your comments in the chat. Yes or no, Sanchez, can you win the Premier League with Sanchez? In my opinion, you can't. And if it turns out that we do, then I will apologise. No problem whatsoever. You know, but Sanchez is full of mistakes. That's why you don't judge football purely on stats. Donnarumma was outstanding last season in the Champions League, treble-winning goalkeeper. Considerably better goalkeeper than Robert Sanchez. Yeah, better than Donnarumma's mad. Better than Donnarumma's crazy. Now, we're not going for Donnarumma. Oh, so it doesn't matter that he constantly makes mistakes leading to goals. We can just ignore that because his shot stopping's good. Come on, bro. No, I don't hate Sanchez. He's just not good enough. It's that simple. He's just not good enough. That's the reality. I don't hate the guy. I've never met him. He simply isn't good enough. Yeah, I've said that he's improved. I've acknowledged he's improved, but he still isn't good enough. Yes, there's been an improvement, but he's still not good enough. All the top teams have got top goalkeepers. We don't have a top goalkeeper. He's not a top goalkeeper. Yes, he's improved, but he's not a top goalkeeper. And ultimately, when you compare Sanchez to all the other goalkeepers at the top teams around Europe, he's not good enough. He's not good enough, chat. Look, if people like Sanchez and think he's great, that's their opinion. And they're entitled to that opinion. But I'm sorry, like, yes, he's improved towards the end of the season and he had a decent Club World Cup. But overall, the body of work that I've seen from Robert Sanchez in the 2 years that he's been at Chelsea is that the guy is not good enough to be in goal for this football club if we want to win major trophies. I don't dislike him. I don't hate Sanchez. My opinion is that he's not good enough. No one's hating. Nothing. It's not personal. My opinion is the guy's not good enough. If someone else's opinion is they think he's good enough, that's fine. I would disagree with that and strongly challenge that opinion. But ultimately, I don't hate Robert Sanchez. I don't know him as a person. I just don't think he's good enough. I just don't think he's good enough. So that's it. And look, I would love nothing. I would love nothing more to be proven wrong. I would love nothing more to be proven wrong. But for me, Sanchez just isn't good enough. Mate, I hope so. I hope so. But there is zero evidence across the 2 seasons that he's had for Chelsea that this guy is going to be a top goalkeeper. There's no evidence to show that. But league titles are a different story. League titles are a different story, guys. You know. And if you defend well and, you know, you try and give your goalkeeper as little to do as possible, then that's maybe... No, he didn't. Sanchez made the most errors in the league last season. Let's not do this. Let's not do this, chat. Sanchez made the most errors leading to goals in the Premier League last season. Yeah, I think he is. If Guehi played alongside Van Dijk, Liverpool could win a Premier League title easily with that combination. We won a Premier League title with Gary Cahill. No one said much about Gary Cahill at a time when we signed him from Bolton. You know, no one said much. Turned out to be a very, very good defender. Very, very good defender. So look, I think Marc Guehi, depending on who he's playing alongside, is a title-winning defender. And look, people are entitled to their opinions. I've watched Sanchez every single week since he's been at this football club. And my opinion is he's not good enough. Makes too many mistakes. And so that's my opinion. If people think that Sanchez is great, then fine. No problem. And it's all, at the end of the day, guys, it's all opinions. But for me, I just don't think Robert Sanchez is good enough to be a top goalkeeper for Chelsea. When you look at the goalkeepers that we've had over the years, when you've had Cech, when you've had Courtois, when you've had Edouard Mendy, and you now look at the current state of the goalkeeping situation at Chelsea, you're just like, you know, it's so far down from what it was. We had Cudicini as well. At the end of the day, he's decent. He's decent, not good enough for a top football club. That's the point that I'm making. Decent isn't good enough for a top football club. For a top football club, you need one of the very best, and he's not that. But I hope that he can keep up that form that he showed at the back end of last season in the Club World Cup. I hope he keeps up that form, because I want Chelsea to do well and have the best chance of winning major silverware next season. You know, that's what I want, and I want to be proven wrong. But as of yet, you know, I haven't seen any evidence which would suggest that my thoughts on Sanchez are wrong at this point in time. If they turn out to be wrong and he has an amazing season next season, then fair enough. But as Chelsea fans, we have to hope that Sanchez can maintain this level of improvement. Because if he doesn't, then we're in big trouble. If he doesn't, chat, then we're in big trouble. So, yeah, look. So yeah, let's see. I hope Sanchez does well. I hope every Chelsea player does well next season. All I'm saying is that I just do not trust this guy in goal, especially in the big games. I just don't trust him in goal. I just don't trust him, chap. I just don't trust him. It's that simple, basically. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, as did I. As did I. Because as fans, we get emotional. But when he was making mistakes like that, it was annoying. But yeah, exactly. I don't trust him with the ball at his feet. I don't trust him with the ball at his feet at all. If he could just boot it long every time, then maybe I would feel a bit easier about it if he would just boot it long every time. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the goalkeeper. I want him to do well. I hope he does well. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I want to look back and think, wow, this guy turned it around and proved everyone wrong who doubted him. Proved everyone wrong who doubted him. That's exactly what I want to happen. I want that to be going on. I'd be absolutely delighted if that happened. I suspect he'll go on loan. I don't trust our defence as a whole. Yeah, I mean, obviously, not having Colwell or well, I don't know how fit Fofana's going to be. Those are going to be issues for sure. Those are definitely going to be issues, chat. Oh, those are definitely going to be issues. So yeah, I don't know what we're going to go with. Yeah, I'm happy to be proven wrong by players. That's what I really want. So yeah, we see, guys. We wait and we see. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think a new goalkeeper's happening, and I don't think, and it's looking unlikely a new centre back's going to happen either. And it's unlikely Simons or Garnacho is going to happen until Nkunku and Jackson go. So that's why it's just kind of been really quite slow this week, chat. It's been really quite slow this week on transfers. It's been really quite slow. But yeah, which is obviously disappointing. It has been slow. Yeah, you can make an argument. You get a better centre back in, and then there's less reliance on the goalkeeper. I do hear that, but I think, look, Chelsea are aware they need a better goalkeeper. We need a better goalkeeper. Chelsea are aware they need a better goalkeeper. There's a reason why they tried to sign Mike Maignan, because they know they need a better goalkeeper. Press conference for Palace will be on Friday, I'd imagine. It'll be Friday, the press conference of Palace, I think. That's what I'd imagine it to be. That's when it normally is. Bro, I'll be supporting PSG. Don't support Spurs in anything. I don't support Spurs in anything. But yeah, guys, let's have a quick look if any news has come through. Any news in the last few minutes about anything? No. No, it doesn't appear to be. Guys, we're going to round this one out here. Oh, Vega news. Yeah, but clubs are interested. That's kind of it. Dortmund looked about it. But there's nothing really to say about Vega. Dortmund looked at Vega. He's too expensive. And we're kind of as we were with that. No, they didn't complete the Manyan deal because they didn't want to pay the money. That's why. Yeah, I think that's a great move for Grealish. A great move. Anyway, guys, big up to everyone that's tuned in this afternoon. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Please smash the like button on your way out. We're about 30 likes away from 200. Let's get to as close as we can to that. Smash that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. And guys, if anything major happens in the remainder of today, I'll be back later on. If not, I'll see all you lot again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday afternoon. Up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.